Let's check out one of the new planeswalkers coming out of Foundations, Chandra Flameshaper, and we'll see what signature spell might pair best with her. For 5 red, she starts at 6 loyalty. +2, add red. Exile the top 3 cards of your library. Choose one. You may play that card this turn. +1, create a token that's a copy of target creature you control, except that is haste, and at the beginning of the end step, sacrifice this token. -4, Chandra deals 8 damage divided as you choose among any number of target creatures and or planeswalkers. Okay, let's start with the good. It's got 2 different pluses, one of which is a +2, that's great. It can activate any of its abilities the turn it comes out, it makes mana, it gives you card advantage, it has removal on it, and that second +1 could help you close out games. Everything written on this card seems really good, there's just one problem. 7 mana is a lot. Now, I'm not saying you can't play it. I play some very casual decks. You could definitely play this casually, but this is not going to be a competitive Oathbreaker. But you know what? That's all right. Not every deck has to be competitive. That's just fine. And now, understanding that, let's take a look at some signature spell options for her. Let's get this one out of the way. Chandra's Triumph is an instant for 2. It deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls, but it deals 5 damage to that permanent instead if you control a Chandra planeswalker, which you will if you're going to be casting this. This is, not surprisingly, the most common signature spell used with Chandra in general. However, I don't think this is a very good one for this Chandra. Chandra's Triumph is pretty good on turn, 4, 5, 6, but not very good on turn 8. When we have a 7 mana Oathbreaker, we usually want either casting the Oathbreaker or casting the signature spell to end the game. And because she makes 3 red mana with her first plus, we're actually going to have access to at least 10 mana on the turn after she comes down. Therefore, I think the most powerful thing we can do is leverage that mana into a huge spell. Preferably something that's going to win us the game. My top 2 choices are Jaya's Immolating Inferno for X red. Jaya's Immolating Inferno deals X damage to each of up to 3 targets. So if you have 10 mana, you're casting it for an X of 8 and dealing 8 damage to, let's say, all 3 of your opponents. Maybe at this stage of the game that'll take them out. But even better than that, kind of surprisingly, is Fiery Confluence, a sorcery for 4. Choose 3. You may choose the same mode more than once. Deals 1 damage to each creature, deals 2 damage to each opponent, destroy target artifact. So this one isn't high mana, but it's actually low enough that you can cast it twice the turn after you cast Chandra. And if you choose the second mode, it's going to deal 6 damage to each opponent twice, for a total of 12 damage to each opponent. And it's still got the versatility of being able to take out a bunch of creatures or even an artifact if you need it to. There's a couple other decent options. Worldfire for 9 exiles all permanents. Exile all cards from all hands and graveyards. Each player's life total becomes 1. And if you have some kind of creature out that can deal 1 damage to each opponent, there you go, you finish them off. Soulfire Eruption for 9 says choose any number of target creatures, planeswalkers, and or players. For each of them, exile the top card of your library. Then Soulfire Eruption deals damage equal to that card's converted mana cost to that permanent or player. You may play the exiled cards until the end of your next turn. Decree of Annihilation says remove all artifacts, creatures, lands, graveyards, and hands from the game. It does not do planeswalkers, though. You get to keep the planeswalkers, and actually enchantments, too. Dragonstorm for 9. Search your library for a dragon permanent card and put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle, and it's got Storm. Last, I tried to find something that synergized with that +1. The only thing I could come up with was Through the Breach, an instant for 5. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. That creature gains haste. Sack it at the beginning of the next end step. You can then, once you do that, +1 to copy the creature, assuming it's not legendary, and swing for a whole bunch of damage. Maybe you can get some Eldrazi shenanigans or something. Again, not the legendary ones though, so not the really good ones. I don't think that this is a really good play. I was just trying to find something that could synergize with that part of the card. If you liked the video, like the video. That helps me out a whole bunch. Oathbreaker is really not very popular, so every like goes a long way in helping the algorithm push my channel. I have over 170 of these videos pairing planeswalkers to signature spells, so if you want to see more, check out my channel. Thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time.